Hello, Daisy Cakes. This is Daisy X Machina, the drag queen detective who investigates all things speculative in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And this is a Get Ready With Me, where I get into drag to film a video later today. And we have Lynette, yay! And we have John Crow, Grandstad, Gran. I'm pronouncing it wrong. Grandstad. I don't know. Blessings to you all. What is that word? Solstice. Hey, Frank. Frank is here. Midsummer, literally sun stop, the solstice. That's right. June 21's the summer solstice, and I was born on the winter solstice. So what does that mean? I don't know. Okay, so as usual, how is everyone's reading going this week? I have a pretty slow week. I just read one middle grade Monster Camp, and it was okay. My only issue with it is it didn't have a very strong plot. It's about this human girl who is a LARPer, a live action role player, and she goes to what she thinks is a role playing camp for monsters, and it turns out to be real monsters like vampires and werewolves and whatnot. So anyway, the whole book is her trying to pretend she's a monster. It's fun. And I just picked up, I haven't started it yet, but if you saw my Nebula announcement, or if you know about the Nebulas, there is an indie writer who won the middle grade young adult Andre Norton Award. So I picked that up. So that's what I'm going to read next. And what I'm going to film is the last 6 months of Shelve It or Shove It. Excuse me. Oops, excuse me. And when I was going over the books, I haven't really been having a very good Shelve It or Shove It year so far. Hopefully the second half of the year will be better. But yeah, because I was wondering why I was getting burnt out in reading, because I haven't been reading very good books. That's why Dungeon Crawler Carl was such a breath of fresh air. Okay. Lynette finished Never Flinched by Stephen King. Overlong and one of the storylines is boring. Oh, that sucks. John says Grandstad on Gaim Reed. Is that like Celtic? Okay, so anyway, let's do a look. I was looking at the Wilma Finger Do palette, and I was thinking of doing just like a sunset with this orange and yellow, and maybe the gold. Because I haven't done a sunset in a while. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, Shelve It or Shove It is such a wild card, because you really shouldn't judge a book by a cover. But and I'll also include the ugly cover that I picked. Not going to read that author again. You're talking about Stephen King? Now reading Unruly by David Mitchell, not the Cloud Atlas David Mitchell, but the British comedian David Mitchell. Is it a Memoir or a actual novel? Oh, it's nonfiction about British kings and queens. See, easier to read than the other one. I may have to go early. I really did a number on my ankle. Oh, I'm sorry, John. Can't sit without elevating it for too long. I know that comedian, Stephen Fry, he's done several nonfiction books that I think have been well received. I haven't read any. I've seen them in the bookstore, and they look like big, chunky, like coffee table books. Oh, Lynette DNF Cloud Atlas. I never tried it, so I don't think I will after that review. Oh, I finished the first season of Foundation on Apple TV, and I liked it. I mean, I had to um, look up Foundation on Google or on Wikipedia because I was watching the show and I was like, I don't remember any of this stuff because it really wasn't what they did. And I think it was really interesting. It was more inspired by the Foundation series because the Foundation series was published in what the 50s, 60s, and they were fix-up novels of short stories that Asimov wrote in sort of this connected timeline, but it spanned like thousands of years. And and they did some clever things because if you're going to do there's like multiple seasons now. Um, that's really hard to do when each like section of the story is like you jump a whole bunch of years and they have different people and different characters. But what Apple did was they got around that by one one line of characters they either put into deep freeze for like hundreds of years at a time, or they were like uploaded into sort of a holographic semi-sentient consciousness. But my favorite is the empire that they're trying to break away from, or that they're trying to is the instrument that may destroy humanity. Is they did this cloning thing where the founder of the empire cloned himself, but the cloning was in groups of three. So there's always a young one, mature one, and a elderly one of these three clones. They call themselves the Empire. And so when the old one dies, they move up in they're called dawn, day, and dusk, I think. And so when dusk dies, the other two like move up a rank, and then a new one is born. And I thought, oh, this is really clever. I don't remember this at all in the Foundation books, but maybe it's because I it's been so long since I've read it. But sure enough, it's a product of the writers of the Apple series. And I always say the medium is a message where they have to really transform um, stories from one medium to another, from book to TV or whatever. So I'm impressed by by what they did, and it makes me think, kind of hope that they would take another stab at the Martian Chronicles, because they did it before in the 70s, 80s, where they kind of tried to follow Bradbury's kind of similar. It's not like thousands of years, but it's like hundreds of years, and it's made up of a fix up of short stories that aren't really related to each other, even though they're sort of together. They tell a story. Um, so I'm wondering what this group of writers could do with Martian Chronicles. Okay, don't read Cloud Atlas. Many actors have clout to say a lot, but often lack the expertise to have a clue. Uh, oh, is John leaving? Just got arthritis in my hand, so I sympathize. Tried to watch that Ocean Gate documentary, found it boring, don't know anything about it. Submersible that implode. Oh, is that the one that just recently with the billionaire and his son? Yeah. I just feel sorry for the boy. I don't feel as sorry for the billionaire or whoever it was, but to take his son along on this ride and just watch the Chronicles on YouTube. Martian Chronicles. Yeah, it's I mean, I was excited at the time because it was science fiction on TV by Bradbury, but it it felt more like an anthology than a. Oh, this is yellow. And I'm continuing to really enjoy Murderbot, and I'm kind of wondering, it's like wondering why am I enjoying this so much? But part of it is that I'm watching it as it's being released once a week. I think the first week there was like the first 2 episodes, and then there's so it's kind of a nostalgia, like back in the day when you would watch movies or watch shows every week rather than um, having them drop all at once, so you have to binge them. But also, this show, Murderbot, they're half-hour episodes, which are usually for like comedies, and it's kind of mm, there's humor in it, but I wouldn't really call it a comedy. It's not like Red Dwarf or something like that, but, definitely a light experience to watch a little half-hour show once a week. Mm, At least they couldn't have felt any pain or fear happen too quick. Oh, the implosion. My next big watch will be Wednesday in August. What's your next big watch? Okay. Wednesdays. Oh, Wednesday, the Netflix Adam's Family reboot. Yeah, that first season was so good. And I'll also be watching the second and last season, I assume, of Sandman. But we all know why there won't be any more seasons of that. We got the orange down. I think I'm new season of Strange New Worlds next month. I haven't kept up with it. I'm so embarrassed, not embarrassed, but I have such mixed feelings about not being able to really get into some of the new Star Trek reboots. And I say that simply because I was, oh, I like that. I was such a Star Trek fanatic growing up. Say what you will about Gene Roddenberry, he definitely had a vision that I think kind of got lost. Okay. I was so annoyed that Night of the Seven Kingdoms has been pushed back to next year. I wish they would go back to the core universe and not all those parallel ones. Yeah. Yeah, I actually, yeah, I should take that back. I like Picard quite a bit, the miniseries. The see my issue, yeah, same with the core universe, but they not Strange New Worlds necessarily, but the when they took it to the point where the Federation sort of disappeared or blew up or whatever happened, that sort of ruined it for me because part of the reason why I keep talking about Roddenberry's vision is his vision of sort of a utopian future that we could look forward to that was post-racial, that was kind of post-money or whatever. Um, meeting, going out and exploring and meeting civilizations and worlds that weren't quite as enlightened as the Federation. But I mean, I'm grossly exaggerating things, but they did. That was sort of Roddenberry's vision, and that did sort of carry through for um, certainly up through the next gen and the movies with Kirk and Spock and them. Hate the mirror world in Star Trek. Yeah, Discovery. I actually like the first season of Discovery. It just just went a little off the rails for me after that. Oh, I did see Lower Decks was nominated uh, for the Nebula, which is a cartoon or an animation of Star Trek that is really funny. I haven't kept up with it. It's like on season 5 now, but I did see the first season, and I thought it was really well done. I guess I like the mirror worlds or alternate worlds when they're just like one little episode. Like one of my favorite next gen. Well, I like the first mirror universe in the original Trek, but the one where I forget the name of the episode, the next gen one where there's like a whole bunch of different enterprises suddenly zipping in. One of which, like Riker, was the captain and was, uh, I think, dying to the Borg or something. At least I don't infect Star Trek forums, etc., with my dislike of the newer Trek. I don't even know where the forums are anymore. Section 31 movie was dire. Oh, it's the one where they. Uh, I'll bite my tongue on that one. The hatred that arises in Doctor Who talk is annoying. If I stop liking a program, I just move on. Plenty more things to watch or read until they cancel the mid story. Yeah, that's definitely my pet peeve is canceling a series without finishing it. Of course, the opposite of that is just a series going on and on and on, long past its, expiration date. Okay. JMS Straczynski has said he will be happy to work on Doctor Who if asked. I rarely look at sitcoms. I like sitcoms, as well. Okay, I'm gonna just do yellow in the corner. I was just noticing on, the BBC America channel that I got, that there's a lot more seasons of Red Dwarf than I realized. Okay, I just did this really light because I'm just gonna go over it with this, Wilma Gold. They make a Doctor Who cartoon series for the little kiddies hoping to get a new generation in. You know what was really sad is they did a spin-off called, The Sarah Jane Adventures, the one of the old Doctor Who. She was a companion from the 3rd and 4th Doctor Who, and, and it was okay, it was definitely for, like, tweens with, 12, 13, that age, and, but then the actress, like, passed away. I watched a few of those. Let's see if I can this isn't going on as well as I wanted. Let me just try. have to, like, scoop this out. Mm, okay. Oh, missing a bunch of things. 12 seasons, I've only seen the first 8. K9 has his own spin-off. First 4 seasons were the best. Despair Squid's my favorite episode. They meet female versions of themselves. Oh, we're talking about Red Dwarf. Okay. Despair Squid. Yeah, we'll just go with this. Anyone ever see Orville? It's the comedy science fiction sort of series by the guy that did um, Family Guy. And he was like, I think he was like the star and the writer and everything. And I have mixed feelings about that because it felt like it couldn't decide whether to be a comedy or a like Red Dwarf type comedy or a real science fiction show like Star Trek. Obviously, it was kind of based on Star Trek, but you would get these like semi-serious storylines and then a fart joke. Like, well, I don't know. Commit to one or the other. Rumor was such a prat. Rumor was great. I never got into Orville. I enjoyed the Orville. That's why I kind of am like between Lynette and John because I enjoyed Orville, but sometimes, but it really annoyed me other times. And again, I felt like it just couldn't commit to either a at least somewhat serious science fiction show or a Red Dwarf type comedy show. Now, I think I've mentioned this before. A blast from the past that I thought was hilarious when it came out was a show called Quark that was 70s, I think. It's like a half hour science fiction comedy show with lead actor was Benjamin something. He was like fairly big name back in the day. Richard Benjamin, maybe? But I think I found it so funny because of my age, because I was really young, and, I think you can watch the episodes on YouTube, and the comedy just didn't hold up watching it as an adult. Boy, for a 13-year-old, it was hilarious. The only other person I found, my friend James, who really liked the show was also of that age when he saw it. Popularity overwhelmed McFarlane. That's his name. Have not heard of Quark. We only had 2 TV stations, so we missed out on a lot in the '70s. We used to have a little choice. Well, Quark, I mean, again, funny to 13-year-olds, but, I think it was canceled mid-season. But I think there you can find, like there's, like, 6 episodes released or something that, uh, you can see on YouTube. Okay. Okie dokie. I think the last sitcom I loved was Keeping Up Appearances. So good. Hyacinth, Ruffles sour cream, and onion chips are so good. Yeah, I love those too. The bouquets. Let's pronounce it right. We saw more British shows than American shows. Oh, do you ever remember Ritz crackers? You're making me hungry, John. Stop that. I haven't eaten chips in years since I first went on my diet. Oh, I like Mary Tyler Moore. Um, but speaking of sort of offbeat, weird British shows. Have you ever seen Two's Company with Elaine Stritch? I mean, it's a British show, but it was about an American uh, living in Britain who hired this sort of snarky butler. If you don't know who Lane Stritch is, she's a very brassy Broadway actress. So they really played up sort of the ugly, loud American stereotype. Great, watched it every Sunday. 59.9 kilograms the other day, the first time I weighed under 60. Last time I saw her was in the second Cocoon movie. Mary Tyler Moore or Elaine Stritch? Was Elaine Stritch in Cocoon? Maybe. Okay, I'm gonna have to. What's 60 kilograms in pounds? I'm so American. 60 kilograms in pounds. 132. Congratulations. I really want to lose like 10 pounds. I mean, it's not a lot, but as some of you may know, as you age, your metabolism slows. So even though you're not like eating more, you're still gaining weight. And I'm like 180 pounds. I don't know how much. Okay, let's do this in reverse. I'm like 80 kilograms. And I like being, let's see, 170. Oh, come on. Man, I can't type. I like being 77 kilograms. So, it's not a huge difference, but you do have to make some choices about diet or exercise or whatever. When I was young, I was pretty skinny. I was like, I'm about 5'11". I'm sure I've shrunk, but in the day I was around 5'11", and I weighed like between 145 and 155. So averaging around 150, but I definitely would get like down to 145, which is too skinny. But and there's no way I'm gonna try to get down to 150, but 160, 170. I'll be happy at 170. Oh my God, Lori, in the past 4 years, you've lost 100 pounds. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Lost 20 kilograms, which is that's huge. Elaine was the manager of a motel or something. I love Elaine Stritch. Till I moved to America. I think it might be easier to diet in Australia than USA. Is that true? I don't know. Are you talking about Temptations? That could be true. We don't have things like corn syrup. I remember to watch, yay, Tim, was taking a nap. How'd you lose weight? I'm trying to lose weight. And the only thing that seems to work is not eating. And I hate not eating. Need to exercise. Was it all dieting? I should exercise more. I do go to the gym like twice a week just to do some very modest weightlifting. And which is nice to turn, to build up some muscle. But I think you really need to do cardio, and I hate doing cardio. But I'm learning how to enjoy walking, which is cardio, and you're not gonna lose a ton of weight just walking, but, um, you can lose some. And definitely there are a lot of health benefits just by some moderate walking a couple miles a day. Okay. Exercise makes me hungry. Well, I mean, I do like eating. I am really a sucker for chips and stuff like that, but hummus and carrots or celery. I mean, my weight will go up until my ankle heals. Hopefully, it heals soon. Little exercise, though, which I know you are consistent with. I cut fast food and unhealthy snacks. Yeah, 70,000 steps a week. How many steps do I do? That seems like an awful lot. I'm sure I don't do 70,000 steps. I think my walking is more like sort of maintenance. Okay, watch, according to my phone, steps, here it is. A week of steps, 5,000. Do 70,000 a week? I average 5,000. Although some days I go like 3,000 and some days I do like 8,000. So, oh no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. This is average per day. Okay, so if I I was gonna say, if I average 5,000 a day, that's 35,000 a week. So half of what Lynette does. Wow. Maybe I should walk more. Hey, I walk in 100 plus degree weather. I walk in Vegas. Resting heart rate is under 60, which is great for a woman my age. When Rose was in the hospital, I would walk the 3 miles to it and back each day. Everybody thought I was crazy. That is great, John. I've cut back to 50K now. I have rheumatoid arthritis with lots of knee and foot pain. Even walking is a challenge. Oh, I'm so sorry, Lori. Yeah, you have to do swimming. Deal with anxiety. I also have found listening to podcasts more than I do books, audiobooks. Okay, guys, I think I'm done. I'm wondering if I should do something else with the eyes, but I think I'm just going to leave it as is. I think it's fine. So let's move on to lips. I like thinking when I walk. See a doctor as soon as you can. Yeah, I was talking to my best friend Sean yesterday, and we're talking about arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis. Because I had last year, some of you may remember, I had something called Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is um, when your body, your white blood cells attack your nerves, which isn't good, by the way. It's life-threatening. But my neurologist had me go to a rheumatoid arthritis to see if there may be, I may also have that because that's when your body attacks the cartilage or joints or something like that. Yeah, Sean's going through it. He's the one that also needs a kidney, but he has to go into surgery because they found a cyst on his back. I've never even heard of this. Like on his spine, they have it. They can't like drain it. Hey, growing old is no fun. Oh, but we were talking about gout, which isn't like rheumatoid arthritis, but I think you can go. That they send you to a specialist like that. There's something about uric acid because Sean was saying it runs in his father had it and runs in his family. Or it's a good place to walk. Beaches, some flat and plenty hills. Yes. Can't see a doctor till August. Till August. Wow. I live near the beach. I do more walking, but I'm landlocked. I walk at night when it's cooler. I've only read 40 books this year. I wish I could listen while I walk, but I lose concentration. Same. That's why I don't really care if I lose concentration on podcasts, but gout and rheumatoid arthritis. I see a lot of wildlife, including bandicoots. The most dangerous things here are snakes. Yeah. I mean, I live in downtown Vegas. I was actually afraid to, not afraid, but I thought it wasn't healthy to walk in this type of weather. Let me see what's the temperature now. Oh, it's only 92, but it's been getting up into the hundreds. It's only 92. Um, but when I first moved to Vegas, I was like, I can't. We can't go outside. We have to stay in air conditioning. But now that I've gotten over that, I kind of enjoy the heat. But I wrap myself up like a mummy. I have this huge blue hat and a long sleeve, like sun jackets and stuff. I usually go with a big thing of iced coffee. Okay, thank you, John. Thank you. Hope your ankle is better next week. 96 here feels like 108. Had to kill a snake in my bedroom. Never happened before. 9C, which is about 50 Fahrenheit. Chilly. Do senior walkers go walking in casinos instead of malls? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I could imagine that because a lot of the hotels on the strip are sort of connected. So you could take a bit of a walk on in air conditioning, through the casinos. I just hate going downtown. I hate going into that area. Take good care, John. Well, it's illegal to kill snake. Well, if it's in your bedroom, I mean, if it's seems like there should be an exception if it's in your bedroom. That's all I'm saying. My father grew up in Florida, and when he was young, they apparently, at least what he did was he caught rattlesnakes and he sold them to some laboratory or something. This was back in the I think 40s, maybe, yeah, 40s. And you have to catch them live because I think they use the venom for something. You have to phone an expert to remove snakes. All Tasmanian snakes are venomous. It's not like I'm living in a swamp down here. I don't know how it got in. I think they use the venom to make anti-venom for snake bite kits. That makes sense. Yeah. I'm not really I can't remember what he said he sold the rattlesnakes to, so could have been type of pharmaceutical thing. I'm more scared of ants than I am of snakes. Remember on my father's side, he had some family in Texas, and we were driving cross country from Florida, his parents' house, back to California, where we lived at the time. And I remember we stayed in, I think it's my father's cousin. I think we stayed in their guest house, and they told us to beware of the water snake that lives in the toilet. I don't know if they were screwing with us or what, but I know my mom was terrified to go to the bathroom. Okay. Jack jumper ants, yipes, have killed more people than snakes and sharks combined. Got bitten by a fire ant the other day. Jack jumpers are a species of bull ant, and I suppose they jump. Makes it especially scary. I'm actually going to get a little bit of white under. Okay. When I lived in New York City, I remember there were a few cases of people in the Bronx finding snakes in their toilet bowls. It's nowhere safe from snakes. Ireland, yes, they were driven out. Do they have bears or cougars? Yeah, since I live in downtown, well, not downtown, since I live in a very urban area of Las Vegas, we don't, the only Animals, I mean, around the borders of Vegas, I'm sure there are, like, coyotes, but, the only predator I've seen are hawks, which, go after or we don't even have regular squirrels here, they're just these little tiny chipmunks. They're really cute, and they had, like, little stubby tails, um, and some rabbits, and that's about it. When I lived in Oakland, we definitely had more variety of wildlife, 'cause I definitely see skunks and possums, raccoons. We had a family of raccoons that, lived somewhere near our backyard, not in our backyard, but we had, like, this flower pot full of water for some reason, and on a hot day, this family of raccoons would come and bathe in it. They're so cute. They're not cute if they get into your attic or your trash. Okay. Possums have to be one of the ugliest creatures. I remember, like, coming home from work, um, I saw this, like, creature, like, going behind a car, and I thought it was because I work swing shift, so I don't get home till late. So it was dark out, and I was coming home from the, underground, and I thought it was a cute little white cat, so I bent down, crouched down, saying, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty," and then having this possum face come at you. It's ugly, pink-eyed possum face. Scared me to death. I think they're supposed to be good for the environment somehow. I'm not really sure. I haven't really done research on it, but someone told me that. One thing around here you do have to call, experts for are bees. If a bee hive sort of nests in your backyard or your house or something. My aforementioned friend Sean, he had a bee colony somehow, like, go into the side of his house, and they had to, like, rip out the siding to get at the bees and grab the queen and, take her rehome her somewhere. I actually have a friend in Texas that does that. and she actually wrote a children's book, not published yet, but it's about called The Honeybee Highway, and it's I never knew this, but apparently, since we have sort of issues with not enough bees in certain parts of the country where we grow things like almonds in California, is people will rent hives from other areas like Texas, and they would load the hives up in these trucks and cart them to uh, almond groves in California and let the bees out. And then, they would like go around to different areas throughout the country to help pollinate certain crops. I never knew that. It's called the Honeybee Highway. We get possums in our ceiling, but our possums aren't ugly. Grew up in Mississippi, agree that possums are the ugliest. Sometimes people get devils under their house. Devils will steal clothes for bedding. Tasmanian devils, favorite card. Oh, yeah, I love Tasmanian devil. My dad was renting some place to a family years ago. He was in their house, and there was a possum in a small crib thing in the kitchen. They said they raise them and eat them. Ooh, oof. Or treated something like the real devils. We raised a particular crop for a while and hired bees to come to fertilize. They're not extinct, I don't think. Okay, so let's put on some jewelry. The thylacine is, I don't know what a thylacine is. Yeah, this yellow. The wig I got is my doorstay. Oh, Tasmanian tiger. Thank you, Frank. They're hoping to resurrect the thylacine. Might be the first animal to be resurrected. I wonder where they got the DNA. It's more like Maryland. Okay, I'll go with Maryland. Cloudwig looks good with the yellow. Thank you. Um, I wonder if they could resurrect the dodo. That was always sort of an interesting creature to me. Or the dingo? Were dingoes domesticated? I don't know. I think we were talking about the capybaras the other day. I think those could probably be domesticated, huh? There's a I don't know what type of environment they can survive in, but I know in Florida, there's an animal rescue that has a capybara cafe where you can come and play with the capybaras. If there was one around here, I would definitely go. Thank you, Lori. You have a good week too. They got a, they got the DNA from specimens in museums. Everyone stay cool. Yes, stay cool and safe. Probably resurrect anything sooner or later, but maybe not dinosaurs. Marsupials would probably be easier to bring back. Or saber tooth. See, we're talking about predators, something nice like the dodo. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This week I'll be filming the my review of the first half of the year of Shove It or Shove It books, which will include the ugly book cover book. And this week, maybe I'll release that this week. If I don't release that this week, it'll be the review of the Hugo book I picked. Okay, anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I should be back next week. If not, I'll let you know on my community tab. And until we meet again, may all the books you read be blessed.